Hey everyone, it's John here, and in this video we're going to take a look at the new image function in Excel. Google Sheets has had an image function for quite a while, and if I'm honest, it's one I've been a little bit jealous about. It's one of those really fun functions that's going to add a lot to your spreadsheets in terms of style and functionality. Right now, this is available in Excel for Microsoft 365, the Beta Insiders version. So you're going to need that if you want to try this out. But let's take a look at what this function can do. The first example we're going to take a look at is the basic implementation of the image function. So the image function has one required argument. It takes a web address for an image, and then it's going to display that image inside the cell. Let's take a look. So the web address needs to be a text string. So we're going to use quotation marks to open that. And then I'm going to paste in my web address for my image and then close off the quotation marks. And when I press enter, I've got my image inside a cell. Now, when you hover your mouse cursor over this image, it's going to have a little pop-up that shows the image a little bit bigger. And you can actually resize this, but it's not going to have any memory. So if you close that out and reopen the pop-up, it's just going to be the same default size. And there is actually no way right now to disable this pop-up. It can be a little bit annoying and gets in the way sometimes. The next example we're going to take a look at is the alt text argument for the image function. So alt text is text that describes what your image is about. And this text would help any screen reading tools describe your image to any visually impaired users of your spreadsheet. Let's take a look at this. I'm just going to press F2 to edit this formula. And when I add a comma, that's going to prompt me for the alt text argument. So this is an optional argument, and it just allows you to input any text value here. So let's give our image a small description. And when I press enter, we get the same image, but now there is some alt text associated with this image. In the next couple examples that we're going to look at, we're going to take a look at the sizing argument for the image function. So after the alt text argument, we have this sizing option here, and we have 4 different options available. So we can fit our image to the cell, we can fill the cell, we can use the original image size, or we can use a custom size. So fit cells is the default option that we've seen up to now when you omit this argument. But if we want to explicitly use this option, we just need to input the value 0 for our sizing argument. So let's reference that right here. And I'm going to press enter. And this is the same image that we've seen before, and it's fitting nicely inside the cell. Let's just copy and paste this formula down and see what happens. So here we've got the fill cell option, and you can see that the image has been stretched to fill the entire cell. And here is our original size option. You can see that the image is a little bit bigger than the cell, and it gets cut off at the top here. And you can see that we've got an error for our custom size, and that's because we actually need to supply the last 2 arguments for the custom size when we choose this option. I'm just going to press F2 and edit this. And then we can put in our custom height and width. So let's try something like 50 and 50 for the width as well. And you can see we get a much smaller image here with our custom size. Now, if you want to maintain the aspect ratio of your image, you're going to have to know which proportions you want for your custom size for both the height and width. So for example, if I press F2 and edit this, and let's say I choose 100 because I don't know what the different height and width aspect ratio should be, then I'm going to get a stretched image. So unfortunately, there's no option to maintain the aspect ratio with a custom size. If you want to do that, you're going to have to figure out what the height and width needs to be together. This next example, we're going to take a look at what file types the image function supports. So in the previous examples, I was using a PNG image, and that works just fine. You can see that here. We've got a similar PNG image. We can also use JPEG images. Those are going to work. Now we have the ability to use GIF or GIF images, but the animation is not going to work there. So here, this is the first frame of that GIF. So only the first frame of your GIF is going to display. Now we also have WebP images that work, and a couple other image types here. Notably though, SVG images do not work as well, or PDFs, those also don't work. In this example, I'm using the image function with a service that's going to generate a QR code image for me. So this QR code image is going to link to my blog post here. So if I press F2 and edit, you can see that I'm just appending on the URL for my blog post. And this service is going to generate a code that links to that post. Let's press enter. And if I copy and paste this down, then it's going to generate a QR code for those other posts. In this example, I found a cat image API online, and so I'm using that to return a random cat image into Excel. So here I'm calling the cat API with the web service function. That's going to return some text that includes a image URL, and then I got to parse out that image URL before I can use it in the image function. Now, when we recalculate, we're going to get a random image into Excel. So Control, Alt, and F9 to recalculate. In this example, I've got a similar dog image API, and we can refresh that to get a random dog image. Control, Alt, F9. In this example, I've got a web service that converts an emoji character into an image of the emoji character. So Excel Desktop doesn't really render emojis that nicely. So here we can see what an emoji looks like in Excel. And then here I'm using the image function to return that as an image. So let's change our emoji. And we can also change the style of emoji that it returns. So let's try Microsoft emoji or Apple. In this example, I'm using an API that I found online that will convert your text into an image of that text. So let's try this out. And in the last example here, we've got an API that's going to return the logo from any website. So here I've got a list of Excel websites, and let's just copy and paste this formula down. And here's the logos from those different websites. So this is definitely one of my favorite new functions. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you're going to be implementing in your spreadsheets. Also, if you've come up with a cool image formula example, let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for future Excel videos like this one. That's it for this video, and we'll see you in the next one.